Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 3rd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts, how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick before we get to the watch list, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you're enjoying what you see here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link right down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you enjoy what you're seeing, then certainly get signed up for the free class. A couple of quick clarification points. First off, this number over here you see will still be changing around along with the candlestick right here because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. But everything I do talk about will still be relevant as we head into Tuesday. And then next, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for you beginners out there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol Rdbx. Talked about this one on Friday and what another explosion it had today. So certainly a lot of updates need to be done. So much so that I'm just going to delete these lines out. Sure, they still pertain to the chart. They're just not really relevant right now. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to risk causing confusion because there's clutter and lines everywhere. So let's try to keep this as clean as possible. The first key level to watch from a support standpoint is right here at the $8 mark. I'm not going to count the number of times, but generally speaking, you can see a variety of times right there. Price got around that area, and then even late day today. You know, like I said, never necessarily hit it right on the dot there, but generally speaking, I take that back, actually. There were a couple of times there and there where the price did hit it right at that level. But overall, $8 is going to be an important pullback point, and like I said, as of now, has shown to be an area where seemingly a lot of buyers are hanging around down there. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, key area of resistance right there at what I would call $10.50. So like I said, I think a lot of people are watching each of these levels, and from just a good old-fashioned pattern perspective, we have our resistance there, have our support there, have the momentum move right there. So this would be known as a bull flag pattern. So if you like to play bull flag patterns and uptrends, then this is certainly a chart that I would say to have on your watch list. Next one, SOS, very interesting pattern here. And what's nice about this is the fact that the price has actually pulled back some. Not crashed or anything like that because, you know, it pulled back and then has, you know, found a little bit of upwards movement. But the nice thing about the pullback is that at least eliminates the worry of, am I suffering from FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Am I going to be the sucker that buys the top because I'm chasing the price? No, that has been alleviated. The suckers that bought the top, the people that were suffering from FOMO, they were buying up there. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, it would still be a guaranteed winning trade if you were to, you know, buy the pullback. I'm just trying to convey the fact that at least that worry has been eliminated from the table. But as always, risk management matters because there are no guarantees. But if you do like to play, first off, penny stocks, as this one's trading for below $1. But if you like to play these situations where you have a big move and then the price pulls back, you know, nothing's guaranteed, but it's certainly more than valid to think, okay, well, the price is pulled back. The price is starting to go back upwards. So does this have some more wiggle room to the upside? And as I speak right now, you can see that that green candle is working its way higher. But like I said, is this the start of something bigger? That's a worthwhile question to be wondering about. And that's the whole idea of a watch list, right? Find unique situations, find situations that capture your attention, and then watch them and see if they behave in a way that ultimately fits into your actual trading strategy. So like I said, if you like to play these sort of situations where you're not chasing the price because there has been a pullback, if you like to play penny stocks, and I'd say this one is certainly worth watching. Next one, AMC, and new lows today, but to give some credit where credit's due, a very, very strong afternoon here. I mean, check out this big bounce that's been occurring, which now brings about the first update that needs to be done, and that's based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closable, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, 1520 was that level of support, but with the price breaking below it, that would be considered an area of resistance. But like I said, as I speak, this is exactly why I like to do these when the market's still open. You can see that the price is essentially knocking right on the door, 1520. Now, with that being said, even if the price does break above 1520, don't get me wrong, that's certainly a good, nice, bullish move. But the next big thing that you're going to have to keep a very close eye on is that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which has a very big track record of rejecting the price. You can see right here, rejected it, generally speaking, rejected it. So like I said, a break above 1520 is certainly a continued step in the right direction. But like I said, I wouldn't get too excited because not only do you have that 50-period moving average, but you then still have the top part of this channel up here at 16. But overall, you can't take away from the fact that as of right now, the bulls are having themselves a very, very impressive bounce. And you can see right there, actually just broke above 1520. So it'll be interesting to see where this ultimately closes. But like I said, even with the close above 1520, still have that as an area of resistance, and that area right there. But no doubt about it, very strong afternoon here for the AMC bulls. Next one here, Aprn, and I like this one for one reason and one reason alone. And when I draw this trend line, let me be very clear. I'm not trying to impress you by implying that this takes a great amount of skill or that this is some sort of fantastic discovery. The exact opposite. I assure you, a lot of people around the world have drawn this trend line right there. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same level, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can certainly produce some very dynamic movements. And that's what we have with that trend line. So as I've said, there are no guarantees in the market. But my point here is it valid? Is it rational to think that if the price can come up to that level and get a break up through it, that break could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure? Yes, not a guarantee, but a more than plausible thought process to have. So keep an eye on that from the resistance standpoint. And then as far as areas of support are concerned, you can see right there that pink line, the 200 period moving average, has done a very good job right now of providing support as it's been tested several times. And the current value of that is right down there at $3.78. So certainly a very worthwhile pattern, at least in my opinion, to keep an eye on. Next one here, Bttx. And what a big final 30 minutes. I mean, check this thing out. Big green candle as I speak. This thing is still working its way up towards highs at the $2 mark. And you can see down here, last 30 minutes, biggest volume of the entire day. So this now just becomes a big question of, is this 30 minutes the start of something much bigger? Now think about that question. Think about what has to occur for me to be able to even ask that question. Well, something worthwhile needs to happen in the first place in order to say, is this the start of something bigger? And yeah, we got something very worthwhile happening. Like I said, the big volume or the big price spike with the big volume spike. So to be fair, maybe it's not, right? Maybe this is just, kind of one day wonder, 30-minute session, and this thing drifts back into oblivion. That's completely possible. That's why risk management protocols exist. But to be fair, that is a two-sided coin because who knows? Maybe this is the start of something bigger, and this thing is just getting started and is going to keep rocking and rolling going into the future. But again, going back to the whole idea and philosophy of a watch list, find unique, find interesting situations, and then watch them. And I would definitely consider this last 30 minutes a very interesting and unique situation. So let's watch it and see how it continues to play out over the next couple of days. Next one, Accd. And what I'm very curious about this one, because you got to give credit where credit's due. Good solid bounce is underway. And that is illustrated. And think about it. It's nice. It's easy for me to say a nice bounce is underway. But what does that even mean? And that's the power of charts, is they allow you to take words and then make them very visual. So when I say a nice bounce is underway, that is being defined as that trend line right there. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that trend line, then a nice bounce is underway. Whereas if the price comes down here and then breaks down through it, well, then at that point, at least in my opinion, per the definition, that would be considered a sign that the bounce is officially, run out of steam. But as of right now, the bounce looking good. Past couple of days, you can see putting in these higher lows. And right now, yeah, last 30 minutes, not looking so hot. A little red candle right there. But taking a step back and looking at more than just, a 30-minute session, you can see that this bounce is still underway. So from that angle of things, in my opinion, like I said, as long as the price is above that trend line, that applies that this current bounce remains healthy. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level to watch moving forward going to be right here at $7.25. So, in some senses, maybe some would disagree, but we'll call it a poor man's ascending wedge, ascending wedge. We have the resistance right there. That's a terrible straight line. And then we have the trend line right there. So ascending wedge, a poor man's ascending wedge, but overall point being is there is still a nice little bounce underway. And if this thing can continue to build upon itself, then, we'll see if $10 and above is within the wheelhouse. Next one here, PLTR, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos. But as you can see right now, last 30 minutes is up above that purple line right there, which could very realistically be the start of a much bigger move to the upside. But you also have to be very careful. What do you have to be very careful of? Well, last time the price got up above that purple line, it was behaving, it was acting like it wanted to be strong, and then you see the rest of the story, it went back over. Now, I've mentioned already that there are no guarantees. So this is, kind of a positive sign of that is that doesn't mean that the price is guaranteed to do what it did back here and roll back over. I'm not saying that at all, because to be fair, maybe this is the start of something much bigger, and that the final breaking through of this very annoying resistance is the leading indicator that this thing has more, bounce ability and is going to continue on up. But it goes back to, once again, the philosophy of a watch list. A very, very interesting situation, not necessarily because the price is bounced, but because it's up above that purple line. So is history going to repeat itself and just roll back over? Potentially. Again, why risk management matters. But to be fair, that is a two-sided coin, and who knows, maybe this is the start of something much bigger when it's just going to keep on making moves to the upside. So like I said, if you like this price range, this is certainly an interesting situation that I would want to keep an eye on. Next one, AMD, and we have ourselves another potential huge battle coming up. And this huge battle is now taking the form of two areas that are starting to align. And the first area is right there at 91.50, that red line, which I've talked about previously. You can see this has been a very, very stubborn level and has rejected the price down several times. But the next level is that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. Keyword there being moving. So when I say aligned, what I mean is that this level is going to keep on moving downwards, and eventually that value is also going to be right at 91.50. So it's going to be a double whammy of resistance, which doesn't, I mean, that doesn't mean that the price can never push through it. I'm just saying that if this bounce continues, which, let's be fair, very, very impressive, very, very strong bounce. But if this bounce is going to continue to have true strength behind it, you're going to have that double whammy of resistance right up around this 91.50 mark. Now, to be fair, though, if that price can get through it, that would be a good sign of genuine strength, but it's definitely going to be, I would imagine a pretty stubborn level. So 91.50 is going to be an area a whole lot of people will be watching. But as of right now, like I said, you don't want to get too excited because technically speaking, it is still stuck in between this general channel, but a lot of upwards movement. So we'll see if this is enough movement to push it to the upside and get a pattern breakout. Next one here, Brqs, which has been a very popular one, although this is difficult to talk about because it really does now depend on what your overall viewpoint is meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you're buying right there, maybe you bought right there, even earlier today, maybe you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes. Well, then from that perspective, the chart's looking really, really bad. But if you do care about the big picture point of view, then I understand this thing right now over the past couple of days has been pretty brutal. But when you factor in the general context of the price having been down here and then working its way all the way up here, you do still actually have a bull flag pattern. But the bull flag comes in the form of assuming that you care about general big picture point of view. Because again, within the bull flag, for some sort of day trader that was buying right there, as I already illustrated, then this is an absolute catastrophe for that particular situation. But just to emphasize, from a big picture type situation, and only you can dictate what your strategy and your viewpoint was going in. But if you do care about, like I said, the bigger picture point of view, there is actually still this bull flag pattern here. So is this a good or bad looking chart? It truly just depends on what your game plan was going in. Next one, Tsla Tesla, and try to trade this one every day. Did trade it today. It treated me very nicely. And now, like a lot of these stocks, last part of the day, a very, very impressive bounce, which is now bringing it up towards some interesting areas of resistance, with the next key level being right there at, now I'm not curious, what was the high of there? High of 905.66, high of 905.80. What was that high of the last 30 minutes? High of 906.36. So let's just call this 906.50. Is going to be that initial battleground to watch from a resistance standpoint, both there, and essentially right there where it got rejected from. If that level can be broken, then the next key level of resistance that, at least in my opinion, stands out, going to be right up here at the $933 mark. So keep an eye on that. And then on a really crazy day, potentially, I suppose you never know with Tesla, does that pink line come into play, which is the 200 period moving average, right now valued at 966. But again, it is Tesla. Who knows? So if this thing just rolls right back over, the level of support that I talked about previously, but nothing has changed in that regard. Still down here right around the $850 mark. And in a near term, that 50 period moving average purple line right now valued at, we'll call it 882, could be another interesting area of support. But right now, a very unique situation because you got to acknowledge the fact that that was a very strong bounce this afternoon. Is there any sort of genuine strength? Is there going to be any sort of continuation going into Tuesday? We'll have to see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used as a trader to help build consistency, then get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be later on this week, Thursday, May 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to put in the time and effort to create this content, then please help me out by doing two easy things. Hit the like button and leave a simple comment. Say hi. Give me an emoji. Tell me what you're watching for tomorrow, what you traded today. But those two things, a simple comment and hitting the like button, go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know that you as a viewer are enjoying, then I have no problem at all continuing to put in the required time and effort to create this content for you. So again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, definitely get signed up for that free class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.